Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
Alrighty, that is correct. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio on ESPN 580 Orlando. You can give me a call, 844-225-5580 on the Dever Team call-in line, or text at 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line, or you can tweet me, AP_Knightline on Twitter. So we're here to talk about the UCF game. UCF wins 44-29 over Houston. I thought it was a pretty good game. A little bit of slow getting started. Chase is here also with me. Thank goodness, because I don't know where Kyle is yet. This is normal.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, I try to be there when needed.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate that somebody. He's at the door there. So we'll continue this here in a minute if somebody can let him in. But yeah. Did you watch the game?
I watched a little bit of highlights. I was out and about. I know that the main thing on Twitter that everybody was talking about was the attendance more than the game. But I was pleasantly surprised to see, because I was worried in the beginning. I saw the first half that it was, 23-21? And then all of a sudden, oh, hey, they only scored 6 second-half points. The Cougars only scored 6 second-half points.
Yeah, it started off a little bit slow for sure. That's kind of the way that it goes, unfortunately. So yeah, first couple of possessions, UCF came out very slow and flat, but it kicked in after that. The defense had a lot of holes in it this week, I was really surprised about, but. It's what happened. I'm not sure what happened as far as that goes. It's
funny you say that, because I'm looking at Houston's stats, and I would say that the defense had an incredible game. I mean, Clayton Tune only 179 yards, 1 pick, and then the rushing defense wasn't at least the greatest. Carr had 132 yards rushing, but other than that, it would look like the defense played very well, just on the stat line.
Right. If you're looking at the stats, they probably did. But there was a lot of holes, especially in the running game. I mean, he had 100 and what did he have? The running back.
132. Mobile Carr.
And there was multiple running backs running. So there were definitely quite a few, things that we need to fix on that. So. You can give us a call, 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580, or text 21232 and talk about all this. I definitely want to talk with people on the phone today about the slow start in the first half. Was this a complete game with that start in the first half being slow? I want to talk about play calling. I heard a lot of grumbling again about people with, play calling not being absolutely perfect. And I want to talk about Kenny Turnier, because he had a heck of a game. Sometimes he was the only guy playing out there. Neville Clark had an interception. Gabe Davis pretty much got shut down the entire game. Not much going on there. Maybe 1 or 2 catches, I think, from him. We got a safety on defense, which is kind of rare for us. Doesn't happen a lot. So that was kind of cool. And we're going to talk about Dana Holgerson. I had a blast just watching him. I was in the cabana sitting there, and he was right in front of me most of the time. And he's very animated, so it was kind of I was entertained by just watching him. I didn't even watch half the game probably just because of that. But no, I did. But very entertaining for sure. Kyle, welcome.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing very good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, no problem. So the slow start in the beginning with the offense, especially. What was your take on that?
Well, obviously, I think that first drive, one of the difficulties about our offense is that when we go 3 and out, we are so up-tempo that it's a matter of a minute or two, and our defense, if we're punting, is back out on the field. So I think we just missed some throws there on the first drive, went 3 and out. And it took some time to, I think, get comfortable.
Do you think anything that had anything to do with it being a noon game? Was it the time of the game? Was it? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out why it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And the last time it happened like that was Pittsburgh, and you saw what happened there.
Well, I always I never liked to play noon games. Coach O'Leary always used to say, like, he loves noon games, thought it was an advantage for us. I you know this by now. I don't like them, and that could have been it. It felt a little flat in the stadium, not just the team, but the fans felt a little bit flat as well. Some of the student section chose not to show up there as well again. So I think it could have been the time, but it didn't last long. We got in sync pretty quickly after that.
What do you think about Dylan Gabriel's game? We haven't really discussed that yet. His stats here. I'm trying to get to it here. Dylan Gabriel, 21 of 30, 298 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown as well.
Beautiful. I mean, the rushing touchdown stands out to me again. That was a big play in the game. He was able to keep the ball. We saw that, he can outrun a safety from Houston for a touchdown, and that is something that maybe we will see as a part of his game in the future. So that was a huge highlight for me, was his touchdown run. But he was phenomenal. He did miss a few throws here and there, but heck, who doesn't?
Right.
And made some great ones. I think the best play of the game for Dylan is when we were, I think we were up maybe 7. It was 3rd and 20. And he hit a swing route to Otis, who picked up 14 yards, which set us up for 4th and 6. And then he hit the big pass to Trey Nixon. If he doesn't make that swing route, get all the way through his progression, we're probably not in position to go for it on 4th and 6. And that's a big time throw on 4th down for coach to have trust in him to throw it deep like that.
Do you like the fact that Heupel will go for it on 4th a lot?
I do. I think when you look at. Sometimes you question whether or not the right play call has been called on 4th down or not.
Right.
That would be more of the question. But, yeah, I like the fact that he goes for it on 4th down. I think that over time that's going to bite you here and there. But generally speaking, we've done a good job over the last 2 seasons of converting 4th downs. Unfortunately, when we haven't against Pitt and Cincinnati, it's cost us football games.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Brandon Wimbush got in, which was kind of interesting and made a great run. In fact, I was kind of surprised by it, and I was like, who is number 3?
Yeah.
Like,
he's got those white gloves on.
Yeah, and I was like, what? Who is this guy? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, what? It was Wimbush, and then Mack was in at the same time. So that was a weird little thing that they did.
A nice changeup. I think it was called at the right time of the game. A good transitional drive. Great to see DJ in there. The play, I think it was a double reverse with Wimbush potentially.
Yeah, it was. It was a weird little thing, and it was a weird formation too that I don't know if we've seen before.
Cool play design. I thought it was a nice wrinkle. If nothing else, that's going to force teams to prepare for that in the next couple of games, which is going to be really annoying to figure out how to prepare for DJ and Brandon and what they could potentially do on the field at the same time.
Absolutely.
May have liked to see that package earlier in the season. Tight red zone versus Cincinnati, tight red zone versus Pittsburgh possibly. But nonetheless, it was great yesterday.
The lessons learned now in those games. Speaking of Cincinnati, they almost
man.
it was very difficult to see that they did not win that game.
Or they did.
That they did win that game, that ECU wasn't able to pull it out.
What ECU team is this?
I know.
First of all.
Totally different team. Totally different Cincinnati team, and we're going to talk a lot more about everything else that went on in the AAC as well. I'm a Georgia fan today, big time.
Big Georgia fan today as well.
I was yesterday as well. Just wanted to see them beat Florida because I just don't like Florida.
Yeah.
So it is what
happens.
it is. Again, this is the Knightline, the morning after show, and we are on ESPN 580 Orlando. You can call us 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580, or you can text us at 21232. I'm here with Kyle Israel. I'm Andrew Phegley, and Chase as well with us. We're breaking down the UCF game. Lots to talk about. Gabe Davis kind of was absent.
Well,
I mean, he was there, but they covered him really well.
Yeah,
I think.
Houston, you saw a couple times we tried to go to him, and it was kind of double coverage. Houston had a safety kind of lingering backside all day to kind of support over the top with Gabe. We obviously hit him once or twice on some big plays, but really couldn't get loose most of the game. But it did set up some other things for our offense. I really enjoyed yesterday, and one of the things I noticed is when we're hitting the slot receivers in the short passing game that allow Dylan just to get comfortable, it opens everything else up. A lot of times you see us throwing to the outside Z and X receiver, and we're kind of not utilizing our slots. But when we're hitting Marlon Williams and when we're hitting Hescock and these guys in the slot, Otis, it opens the rest of the offense up entirely. And so I enjoyed seeing that yesterday, and seeing his play calling yesterday was phenomenal, I thought.
Well, speaking of play calling, we got a caller on the line here that wants to talk about Twitter fans going nuts on play calling. Ron, how you doing?
Very good. Hey, guys.
Good morning.
Kyle, I watched you play every play at UCF back in the day, and I was there back in the day way, way, way before you. It's just I don't want to say it's disheartening because the casual fan, not to besmirch them, but they're not that knowledgeable about the overall concept of games anyway, and they just follow the masses and stuff. But these people losing their mind about our running game, they don't have a problem when it breaks for 40 yards and a touchdown when Ventavious and all that sort of stuff. And, I think our defense has been really good yesterday. And tell me if you agree with this. We were hurt on 2 plays. There was this quasi, and this is not what it was, but whether it was an RPO or not, this kind of off tackle to the right-hand side when our defensive end would go to the outside. There was a gaping hole about 20 feet. Mm-hmm. That thing hurt us 3 giant times, and then the really, really slow drag patterns that they would send guys deep and coming across the middle, which I know they hurt us on 4 times, but that's going to happen if you don't get a good enough rush. But I just don't think it's bad play calling, and I think our defense has actually done great considering, because it's not like Houston is a slouch, because they're not.
No.
Right?
No, they're not at all. And the thing that I was telling a number of people yesterday is you take away De'Aaron King, obviously that takes away kind of the star power of that football team, but the rest of the team is still a very good football team. They had athletes all over the field. If you look at them, Houston looks like a better built team than most we've seen this year. So I knew that they would play us tough, and they did very early on and gave us trouble.
Well, absolutely. I've always said I think they're kind of a UCF light at this point, and if a very, very healthy Derek King there, then we run into a big problem there as well. But let me ask you this. I mean, Kyle, I know that you know it inside and out, and of course I think that I do, probably don't. With this, people get irritated when we send a 112-pound running back up the middle for no yards on off, times. But is there – I mean, I know the answer to this. It's kind of rhetorical, but isn't there a method to the madness? There's a reason why we're doing that. It's not just that they think he's going to go every play get 8 yards. No, there are reasons for it. Or do you disagree with Heupel, his strategy kind of?
No, I don't, and it's the way that his offense is built. You see that Gabe and Trey, they line up on the same side of the field each time, and they're really spread out, and our offense is really designed to utilize the entire field. So if we don't run up the middle, then we won't be keeping outside linebackers honest, and they'll continue to spread further out, and those screens won't work later in the game. So when we have play calling that's more of an RPO scenario, which is a lot of what our transitional play calling is when we're kind of in a flow, then you're going to see more runs up the middle because you're trying to keep the defense honest and spread out or brought tighter in. And sometimes to the naked eye, when those things go for a yard here, a yard there, they may not look like they're doing what they're intended to do, but they may be setting something else up. And I think that can get very overlooked throughout the course of the game, especially when people are just trying to analyze what they're seeing, which is much, much harder to do with the naked eye than the average individual realizes. I played the game. I don't always know what we're trying to accomplish. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, and I'm blue in the face from trying to explain to people that this is part of the game and this is what we need to do. And the average fan, I guess, just doesn't understand that. Yes, the guys are small that he's sending up the middle most of the time, but like you said, it keeps them honest, and it's just a necessary thing. And once it works, I mean, every once in a while it works, and boom, they're gone, and nobody can catch them, and there's nobody there.
We've seen that the last couple of weeks with Bentavious, the last two games specifically, where he is able to break those up the middle, and all you got to do is break one tackle. So sometimes those plays, they're not exciting. They go for a yard, all of a sudden it's third down, right, in this transitional offense. But yesterday and throughout the course of the season, we have been able to break some runs up the middle. It's just frustrating at times, especially situational. I think that's what people mostly get tied into with our play calling is, I'm hearing people screaming at Heupel, and then the next play we have a 50-yard run, and everybody's super excited. It's like, okay, you can't have it both ways,
Yeah. All right, Ron, thank you for your call. We're going to take a little bit of a break here, and then we'll be right back on Knightline the morning after.
Hold your breath.
The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando.
Yes!
Another triple header Sunday. First at 1 p.m., the Miami Dolphins welcome the struggling New York Jets to Hard Rock Stadium. Then at 4:30, the Cleveland Browns travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. Then on Sunday Night Football, the red-hot New England Patriots travel to Baltimore and put their undefeated streak on the line against the Ravens. Right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
Football season is here, and time to treat your lawn with Sunnyland Professional 1608 Weed and Feed Fertilizer. Sunnyland Professional Fertilizers can only be purchased at all Lowe's Garden Centers. Go to SunnylandCorp.com to print your $2 per bag mail-in rebate. This rebate is good for all Sunnyland Professional Fertilizer products all year long. Buy Sunnyland Professional and save. Sunnyland Fertilizers are the choice of the UCF Knights and the Florida Gators. Sunnyland Fertilizers, made in Florida just for Florida lawns since 1884.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, oviedobrewingco.com.
The 9th Annual Altamont Art, Craft, and Wine Festival is back. Join us Saturday, November 16th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, the 17th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Cranes Roost Park for a great weekend of festivals. This family-friendly art festival is free to enter and features over 150 artists and crafters with live entertainment throughout the event. For more information or to buy tickets to one of our wine tastings, visit aacwf.com. Sponsored by Peacock Ford, Addition Financial, and Whole Foods Market.
It's the final drive event at Greenway Dodge. $49 down and up to 20% off. That's up to $9,000 off 2019 Challenger and Charger Scat Packs with Dodge Power Dollars. Up to $8,000 off 2019 Dodge Durangos. Shop 24/7 at greenwaydodge.com. Feel the Greenway Dodge difference.
Island H2O Live, a new wave of water park.
Experience the next generation of fun at Island H2O Live. You choose the music. You choose the lighting. And you choose where to share your memorable moments at Florida's newest and most immersive water park.
Island H2O Live.
Now open in Kissimmee, located off US 192 and State Road 429 on Inspiration Boulevard.
Island H2O Live.
It's a huge NFC East rivalry for Monday Night Football as the Dallas Cowboys travel to New York to take on the Giants. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, this is Andrew Phegley back live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio. Joining me, Kyle Israel and Chase. Taking your calls, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line, or taking your texts as well, 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line, or you can tweet at AP_Knightline on Twitter. UCF wins 44-29 over Houston. We're talking about that, obviously, because that's what we do here. And, So, Kyle, what else was we talked a little bit about the slow going in the first half. We talked a little bit about play calling with our caller, Ron, from earlier. Kenny Turnier was one thing I wanted to talk about. What a game from that guy.
Yeah, and he wears number 7. I'm really happy to see somebody wearing that jersey actually making plays.
True.
I don't know if there's ever been a number 7 since I've played that's actually been a significant part of our team that much.
Not that I remember. Yeah, that's good.
But yes, he played phenomenally. I think he had a hard-headed personal foul penalty there at one point in the game.
He kind of gave a little extra push to a guy.
Quite a bit of an
extra
push.
There may have been a guy on the ground behind that guy for him to flip over and look kind of dumb. But
in the second half, and how do you say his last name?
Turnier.
Turnier?
Yeah.
Turnier. He started really getting pressure. I think that the way that our defensive line evolved in the second half, you saw a lot more stunts and games, and you saw a lot more angled rushes. And I don't know if that was an adjustment by Randy Shannon, but in the beginning of the first half, our defense could not get off blocks. And I'll give Houston credit. I mean, their offensive line was playing really good, getting to the linebackers at the second level. And Ron was mentioning some of those runs off the edge. We just didn't have an answer for it. Our edge guys could not get off blocks, and Houston did a great job of blocking downfield. So whatever the adjustment was, and it's always so difficult to go back and say it was this, right, by just watching the game in person one time, our defense really stepped it up and started to create pressure, got pressure with the defensive line, which is important. And although Houston did hit us for some of those crossing routes throughout the course of the first half, our pass rush in the second half didn't allow their quarterback to sit back there and wait for those routes to open up, and just kind of took them completely out of sync.
Yeah, I think second half Randy definitely showed up in this
without
game.
a doubt.
And I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. The third quarter has been interesting this year because sometimes we don't show up in the third quarter, sometimes we do show up in the third quarter. This was definitely a case 2 weeks in a row of really showing up in the third quarter. So I think when they go into the locker room, the correct adjustments obviously are being made at that point. You also saw starters in for quite a while yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was letting up on the gas, which is something that people have complained about quite a bit. And I understand letting up on the gas a little bit, and I didn't have a problem with it, in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem either way with it. If that's what you need to do, you do it. If not, don't do it. But they definitely showed up in the third quarter and the second half. I mean, the defense especially showed up in the second half, only allowing 6 points in the second half.
It felt like a totally different football game. It was Houston had the lead 23-21 at halftime, probably the first time we've been down at the half at home in quite some time.
Yeah, I think the only other time we've been down at the half period this season was at Pittsburgh. So, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
So,
well, and we did step up. I mean, obviously the defense played much, much better. I think the secondary really clamped down in the second half. We created a big turnover, and Novell Clark with the interception, a beautiful interception, really did a good. His dad tweeted out today that he baited him in that quarterback into throwing that, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
And that was a huge turnover for us at that point in the game. I know it was late in the series, third down or something, but that's a big turnover to create some momentum for us because Houston had the momentum early on, and that game could have gone a very different direction. We're sitting here kind of a little more comfortable today because we got the win, but at halftime yesterday, if you would have listened to what fans were saying in the stands and just kind of felt the environment, we did not have energy. We did not have momentum, and certainly the fan base wasn't really the driving force of energy yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got some phone calls here. Let's talk to my friend Travis there on line one. Travis, what's up, man?
Well, what's going on, guys?
Good morning.
So, what was your overall take on this game?
I mean, I think we came out a little slow. Looked great though. I'm super excited about still like our running backs. Like I know you guys were just talking about a lot of fans not understanding the up the middle stuff, but the future of the running back position and watching Bentavious Thompson is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that kid, and we're going to see a lot more of him. I wish, in a way, that they would have used him more, but that room is so full of people, that running back room. And we got, one senior in there that obviously needs to get his carries, and he does a great job. But, I think later on, obviously, Bentavious is just a sophomore, so, we're going to use him a lot more in the future.
And we got a couple great recruits that are committed. We'll see if we can get them signed. That's the hard part, but that running back room might be full for a long time.
Well, I think the one thing that our fan base should realize over the last 2 seasons is that depth is critical, and Greg McCrae's absence or injury has really been a non-starter as far as the talking point, because we do have so much depth. Obviously, Bentavious has been the benefactor of some of those extra carries, and he's made hay with those carries. But it really goes to show that our program is at a different level when we're able to, if Dylan went down, DJ Mack is there. When Greg McCrae goes down or Adrian Killens goes down, we still have Otis. We still have Bentavious. We still have really good freshmen actually behind them as well. So I feel very good about Bentavious in this running back position, and he's the type of guy that can make stuff happen when you're running it up the middle. He'll break tackles and still run away from you.
Yep, I agree.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your call. I really appreciate it.
You got it. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Take it easy. That's my friend Travis. Travis Dever, by the way, who does a lot for Knightline, and we greatly appreciate it. One of my best friends, and we always have a great tailgate. Y'all can always stop out at my tailgate or our tailgate in the softball lot. We always welcome anybody. This next one, actually, the last one for this year, we're going to have the day after Thanksgiving.
Is that our last home game?
It is.
What the heck?
It is, I know.
Oh, my Lord.
It's a bummer. But we're going to have a big Thanksgiving spread out
Sweet.
there. We're gonna be frying some turkeys and
Sweet.
all kinds of other stuff. So we're going to, anything that you bring, we'll throw into the fryer.
Nice.
That'll be fun. Okay, we got one more call. Let's take it real quick here. I think it's Andrew from Oviedo, right?
That is correct, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. You guys hit a lot of the points that I was going to talk about earlier in the first segment, but I was kind of trying to change gears with Houston in the second half. I know that Houston came out pretty strong, and then, in the second half Randy comes in, but I'm kind of curious on that. I had felt that Houston's offense kind of lost their identity more than our defense buckling down. I mean, did you notice that? I mean, I was in the stands for the game, so it's a little bit different when I watched it on TV, but I felt Houston's offense became rather predictable, where our defense clamped down more than the defense making adjustments. I don't know if you had that same thought or not.
That is a good thought process, and I was it is hard to dissect that just by watching the game in the stands. Without watching it again, I haven't done that yet. But I can tell you that Houston's success at the beginning was that off the tackle rushing game, and everything else after that was set up off the play action. And I think their lack of success on first and second down of being able to run the ball forced them into some scenarios where they weren't able to be in rhythm. I think Dana Holgorsen really likes to get ahead of the chains, likes to make some 4 or 5 yards on first down to set everything else that they like to do up, and they weren't able to run the ball on first and second down well in the second half, and I think that's what slowed their pace and really hurt them. So, yeah, I think that's a great point. Houston didn't come out and show us what they did in the first half. Maybe it was a bit of a combination of the two, but they did lose some of their identity, and they certainly didn't play as well as they did early on.
Well, also, if you look at their past few games, the most that they've scored second half points-wise is 13.
Wow.
And then everything else, they're not really a good second half team, at least for the past few games. So I think we can also credit the defense and putting forth a great effort, but also Houston's not as good in the second half.
Yeah. Well, and these teams get demoralized as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of what we do to teams is they, it's the shock and awe thing. Finally, our offense starts playing and then, either way, defense or offense, they're over there like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So
the chunk plays feel like just big haymakers.
Yeah.
Like when you take one on the chin and then another one on the chin pretty quickly, you're kind of staggered for a little while. And our offense is capable of doing that. We had a 99-yard drive, like that. And to even an offense sitting on the sideline watching that, it's like so deflating.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a little break. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your call. We'll be right back on Knightline the morning after.
Can you imagine buying a TV or a car, using it for a year or two, and then taking it back to trade it in for a new model, and the retailer gives you a full refund plus an extra 10% toward the new one? Yeah, never happened, right? But it does happen at International Diamond Center with our 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. It works like this. When you buy any diamond at IDC and keep it for at least a year, we'll give you back 110% of your original purchase when you decide to upgrade to a larger stone. For example, you buy a diamond today for $5,000. When it's time to upgrade, IDC will give you $5,500 toward the new diamond. That's guaranteed 10% appreciation when you trade up. Think about it. IDC will give you more than you paid us for the first diamond. This is for any engagement ring center stone as well as all diamond solitaire pendants and all diamond stud earrings. You get 10% more value when you trade up. Just another example of how we stand behind everything we sell. International Diamond Center. Get locations, directions, and store hours at shopidc.com.
Let's say you have ED, male impotence, or maybe you suffer from PE and can't satisfy your partner. If you have either or both of these embarrassing conditions, Premier Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Schwartz, a specialist in men's health.
If you're experiencing ED or PE, Premier Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain and no surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Premier Men's Medical Center has patients lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your first visit is free. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call 407-270-3940. We guarantee that you'll see results on your first visit, or there's no charge for your consult. Call Premier Men's Medical Center now at 407-270-3940. That's 407-270-3940.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Coming up on Monday, we'll recap Patriots, Ravens, and all of Week 9, plus get you set for Cowboys and Giants on Monday Night Football. Will we punt or play on your team's game? And looking ahead to Tuesday's first college football rankings, Go Look and Win Go Monday.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, this is Knightline, the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, and joining me is Kyle and Chase. We're at ESPN 580 Orlando at the Victory Casino Cruises.com studios, home of the only legal sportsbook in Central Florida. You can give us a call, 844-225-5580, or you can text us at 21232. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit about the American and the other teams and the other scores and stuff in the American.
It could have been such an epic day yesterday across the conference. I mean, it was nationally.
Yeah.
But gosh, if ECU beats Cincinnati last night,
that would have helped us tremendously.
I mean, I had written that off as a game that ECU was going to lose so that it didn't matter. I'm not completely in shambles today, but ECU being up 12 points with 4 minutes left to go and throwing a pick six to essentially lose that game is just, that changed the dynamic of our season greatly in just that one play.
Yeah.
Same player for Cincinnati that had a pick six against us as well.
Oh, that's
Same dude.
Not good. I was really hoping that East Carolina could pull that out, and they were leading. I mean, they were doing really well. The other game that we were paying quite a bit of attention, the nation was paying attention to the American this week, was Memphis and SMU.
Yeah.
And that's in the west of our conference for the last time. I guess next year we go to not having divisions, but SMU being ranked number 15 and undefeated against number 24 Memphis, and Memphis pulled it out at home. It was on ABC. ESPN Game Day was there.
Liberty
The
Bowl
whole
was
big
sold
deal.
out.
Yeah, the Liberty Bowl was sold out, which is doesn't
Not
happen
common.
very often.
No.
That game, we talked about it a little bit during the break, you and I. That game, I wasn't sure really who to pull for in that, but I guess we would have wanted SMU to continue going up as high as possible, and maybe a slight chance of meeting them in an American championship game.
Yeah, if we still wanted to consider the Cotton Bowl as like a destination for us, then I think that we probably would have wanted SMU to get as highly ranked as possible, stay undefeated. Cincinnati would have needed to lose twice, or still needs to lose twice. Then we could go out to Dallas, play SMU in a conference championship game against a team that maybe at that time is ranked like 11 or 12, 13. And if we were able to win that game, even with 2 losses as a conference champ, we may be the highest ranked team now that Appalachian State has lost. So, we probably wanted SMU to continue winning. It doesn't really affect us that much. But the bigger team to watch, obviously, is going to be Cincinnati, because they still have to face USF, which I will be cheering heavily for USF.
Yeah, I hate to do that, but I'm going to have to on that one.
We have to.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice.
Have to, yeah.
They got to play Temple still, I believe, which is a game that, Temple beat Memphis. Temple we destroyed them, but they are a team that I think can beat Cincinnati. And then Cincinnati has to play Memphis. And so I think there's still 2 games that they can lose. But if we were able to get one of those losses with ECU last night, I think that would have literally put UCF back in the driver's seat to be the representative in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, we're definitely right there on the edge of that. We just need other people to help us out, and it's kind of unfortunate that with 2 losses or whatever that you have to have people help you out. But I guess that's the world of college football. My friend Jeff Allen does a thing for us, the AAC scoreboard. Let's hear that real quick, and then we'll come back.
Time now to take a look around the rest of the American. Our spotlight game of the week did not disappoint as number 24 Memphis outgunned number 15 SMU 54-48 in front of a sold-out Liberty Bowl. Brady White threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Antonio Gibson had a school record 386 all-purpose yards with 3 scores, but Memphis in the driver's seat in the West at 4-1 and 8-1 overall. It's the Mustangs' first loss of the season, and although they have an identical record, the Tigers now hold the tiebreaker, as well as with Navy, which leads the division by a half game at 5-1. Shane Bichelle threw for 456 and 3 TDs for the Mustangs in defeat, and James Prochet caught 13 passes for 149 and a touchdown. Cincinnati rallied to beat East Carolina 46-43 on Saturday night when Sam Crosa kicked a 32-yard field goal as time expired. ECU's Holt Nailers threw for a school record 535 yards and 4 scores, but threw a costly pick 6 to Ahmad Gardner, who ran it back 62 yards for a touchdown to give the Bearcats their first lead since early in the second quarter. After ECU tied it with a field goal, Desmond Ritter, who threw for 161 and a TD and rushed for 146, led Cincy down the field for the game-winning field goal to keep the Bearcats atop the East at 4-0 and 7-1 overall. The Pirates fall to 3-6, 0-5 in conference. Justin McMillan ran for 3 touchdowns and passed for another as Tulane outlasted a frisky Tulsa squad 38-26. Tulane became bowl eligible for the second straight year as they moved to 6-3 on the year and 3-2 in conference. Tulsa drops to 2-7, 0-5 in conference. And from Friday night, quarterback Malcolm Perry ran for 108 and 2 TDs and threw for 165 and another score in leading Navy to a 56-10 rout of UConn. It's his 5th straight 100-yard rushing performance. Navy now 7-1, 5-1 in conference, and as we mentioned earlier, holds the lead in the West by a half game. UConn now 2-7, 0-5 in conference. I'm Jeff Allen. I'll have the complete recap of Week 10 and a look ahead to Week 11. I'll give you my nickel's worth on UCF because 2 cents is not enough on the Knights' 44-29 victory over Houston. Plus, we'll hear from Will Kennedy of the Power 6 Rundown newsletter. All that and more on this week's AAC Report only on the Knightline Sports Network.
All right. Well, Jeff does a great job on that AAC report, by the way. You can find that on the Knightline Sports Network podcast, anywhere where you can find podcasts. One glaring thing that he said there was Ehlers from ECU threw for 535 yards at 4 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Insane game for ECU, and they have a freshman wide receiver. His last name's Johnson, number 5. I don't know how many receptions that guy had last night.
12 for 283 yards, average 23.6. His longest being 75 and a touchdown.
Yeah, my point exactly. Thanks for those stats. That guy went off last night, and I hope that game for other teams is a diagram for how to score points on Cincinnati. Obviously, UCF was wasn't our best offensive game with that many turnovers, but Cincinnati is not as good as their record shows, in my opinion. And so I think that ECU is a great example of how you can score points on them. And that was a little bit of a trap game. I don't know that Cincinnati and their coaching staff thought that ECU's quarterback would ever have a chance to throw for 500 yards, but just short. However, it's a bit scary because ECU looks like they have some talent for future seasons that may make them a contender again in the American.
Well, and I'm good with that. I love that, and I know that you absolutely hate ECU. They're pretty much your big rival, but I love to see these other teams doing well in the American. I think that it only helps us out with our strength of schedule because people constantly, say, oh, the American's not this, the American's not this. Oh, they want to be Power 6, blah, blah, blah. Well, I think this shows that we are. Yeah. And any given Saturday or whatever, these teams, can step up. And, wow. 535 yards. Who does that?
Well,
that doesn't happen a lot. And we saw this team not too long ago,
in person,
and they weren't even close to doing anything like that. So they were obviously up for this game.
They were, and I think that it goes to show, for this conference, UCF has been kind of the flag bearer, right, for the last 2 seasons, and Memphis and SMU and even Cincinnati have really kind of continued to carry that flag, even though UCF isn't having the season we wanted. These other teams have stepped up for the conference, and yesterday was just a great example of, Beale Street for College Game Day looked incredible, and the conference and the stadium and the game itself was great. So a good overall day for the American Conference. It would have been a little bit nicer if ECU could have won that football game, but these other teams have definitely stepped up.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. So, one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about was, I mentioned it earlier, Dana Holgorsen. This guy, he's funny. He's very emotional with his game and just goes crazy over there. I enjoyed watching him yesterday almost more than the game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast recently with Pat McAfee, who played at West Virginia, and talked about going back up there and visiting in West Virginia and going to a house party that Dana Holgorsen would have after every home game, and would say that Dana would have hundreds of people over to his house to out in the mountains and throw these crazy wild parties, and I feel like I could see that happening based on the guy that I saw on the sidelines yesterday for sure. But he's a great coach to have in this conference. And, Houston's paying a lot of money for him. I think somewhere close to $5 million a season.
Yeah.
Which is a head scratcher at this level, to be honest with you. But, he's the type of guy that can make Houston relevant long term for sure.
Yeah. I have his post game here. It's as interesting as he is anyway. Let's hear that real quick, and then we'll come right back.
Dana just coming out third quarter.
Hey, we sucked. We didn't block in time.
A lot of different things could happen, but that play, Clayton's interception there, they turn around and march 98 yards.
It's bad. And I thought Clayton played pretty good. I thought we had a really good game plan, offensively, defensively. They haven't lost her in 3 years. They're 34-3 in the last 3 years. So did we just lose the team?
No.
They're pretty good. Our guys refuse to listen to the things that are said about them, and they just keep fighting and playing. And I really appreciate them, and they just put their head down and play. And we're getting better. That was a pretty well executed first half. Yeah, we threw a pick. Clayton's still inexperienced. He shouldn't have thrown that ball. We had 3 other people open. He'll learn from that. We pin them inside the 1 yard line twice, and they score on 99-yard touchdowns. I know they did one. I'm not sure about the other one. I mean, we throw a pick and they get it on the 1. That's where turnovers can help you, not hurt you. I mean, we'd rather have the points, but, they're backed up on the 1. Defense got to go out there and stop them. And didn't. So, blame it on whoever you want to blame it on, but it's not good complementary football. Right. I thought we could have been up by more than 2 at halftime. We played a really good first half.
I was going to say, go toe-to-toe in that first half to be able to...
It was perfectly executed. They did a really good job. We could have got a few more points on the board. We had to settle for a couple of field goals, and we threw that pick. So we could have been up more, which to beat a team like this, you have opportunities to jump on them. You better get up when you can get up. They came out and played their tail off in the second half. We knew they would. We ran out of gas. We're running out of people. We're running out of bodies. We're running out of excuses. We're running out of everything. They played better than we did in the second half, and they won.
On the bodies, Mulba starting today. Patrick didn't make the trip, so, I mean, is that pretty much...
Yeah, Kyle gave us what he could in the first half, and then he was shut down. There's guys that are a part of this team that aren't playing for a bunch of different reasons, and Patrick couldn't go. Hopefully we get him back for the next 3 games. We get a bye week, and hopefully he'll up a little bit to be able to give it our best here the last 3 weeks.
Good.
All good. Thank you.
All right, well, that was Dana Holgerson's press conference. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll be right back on Knightline the morning after.
It's back. Join us for a round of golf on one of Orlando's most historic golf courses at ESPN 580 Orlando's 2nd annual golf tournament at Dubstred, Monday, December 9th. Presented by Fountain Buick GMC. Enjoy a round of golf with some of your favorite former pro athletes, local personalities, and sports-themed holes and activities. Event starts at 7 a.m. with tee time at 8 a.m. and best ball wins. ESPN 580 Orlando, the golf tournament, presented by Fountain Buick GMC, is brought to you by In-Phase Electric, Bic Razors, and Yingling Lager. Register online now at ESPN580Orlando.com.
Football season is here, and time to treat your lawn with Sunnyland Professional 1608 Weed and Feed Fertilizer. Sunnyland Professional Fertilizers can only be purchased at all Lowe's Garden Centers. Go to SunnylandCorp.com to print your $2 per bag mail-in rebate. This rebate is good for all Sunnyland Professional Fertilizer products all year long. Buy Sunnyland Professional and save. Sunnyland Fertilizers are the choice of the UCF Knights and the Florida Gators. Sunnyland Fertilizers, made in Florida just for Florida lawns since 1884.
Shoot Straight's 40th anniversary sale is November 1st through 3rd. Save big at all Shoot Straight locations of the best selection of discounted firearms, including Beretta 92 FS for $429 and Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm pistol for only $299. Plus, save on accessories, range memberships, and much more while supplies last. Don't miss Shoot Straight's biggest sale of the year, November 1st through 3rd. More info at shoot-straight.com. Shoot-straight.com.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else in New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Wonderful product. I've lost 111 pounds using that product. 111 pounds. You could not believe the difference. I went from a size 48 pant to a 33 pant, and I've maintained that now for over almost a year now. Yeah, absolutely. Andro 400 has helped me lose 111 pounds, and I've maintained my weight for almost a year now.
Thanks, James, for that inspiring testimony and 111 good reasons to choose Andro 400. The most effective and natural way to lose belly fat, increase libido, gain energy, strength, and muscle while safely boosting your testosterone levels. So guys, how many reasons do you need for trying Andro 400? Well, here are 2 more great reasons. Order now and get free shipping plus an additional $6 off when you use the code SAVE6. That's SAVE6. Call 888-400-0435, 888-400-0435, or go to andro400.com, andro400.com.
Lung cancer kills more people than breast, colon, and prostate cancers combined. And 80% of those diagnosed with lung cancer never smoked or quit decades ago. If you or someone you know has lung cancer, the Bonnie J. Adario Lung Cancer Foundation can help. Text the word LUNGS to 50555 to help lung cancer patients and to fund the research needed to find a cure for the world's deadliest cancer. Go to lungcancerfoundation.org for more information.
Hey, it's the Gats. Join us Monday. We'll have the funniest thing from the sports weekend. Plus, I'll have my weekend observations. That's Monday on the Dan Le Batard Show with Mies Gats on ESPN 580 and ESPNOrlando.com.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, this is Knightline, the morning after. I'm Andrew Phegley, and we are live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio at ESPN 580 Orlando. You can call us 844-225-5580 or text us 21232. We're still talking about UCF's victory over Houston, 44-29. What a great game. One thing that we want to talk about in this final segment is the topic of stadium expansion is still out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's judging the crowd that showed up yesterday. I don't know if that's such a great idea.
Even our last two home games, the student section, which we have really been very prideful in, 12, 15,000 students making it out to every game, which has sparked the conversation of whether or not we should do a stadium expansion. And if you would have asked me this question 6 weeks ago, I'd say, yeah, we absolutely need to consider that based on students standing out there for 3 hours before the game, everybody not being able to get seats.
Yeah, they even had to adjust the way that they let students into the games and all that stuff. But I think maybe after the two losses, the students maybe think that it's over, and they don't realize what's going on and the chance that we actually have to have a great season still. They haven't shown up since, it doesn't seem like.
No, and there's not really a valid excuse. It's not like we're coming off of Thanksgiving or this is a game, a noon game on a beautiful day. It felt a little bit hot, to be honest with you, but, it's head-scratching a little bit and shows you how fickle fan bases can be. I'm not saying our whole fan base is like that. Obviously, the rest of the stadium was pretty full, but I don't think we can go down the path of a huge conversation about stadium expansion when you're not selling out technically, the 45,000 seats that you have.
Yeah, the one thing I think that would have made the stadium expansion be a really big thing was these, Power 5, quote unquote, Power 5 teams wanting, we want to get them to come to our stadium and play us.
That's true.
That's the one thing that I think would really, help that.
Yeah.
Having a bigger stadium. They say, oh, your stadium's not big enough. We can't get enough of our fans there. Well, we need to fill it if we do that, even to get them here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I would love to see our stadium, fit 60,000 people, but it's really going to look empty when people don't show up.
No doubt
and
about that.
Yes, it was hot. It was definitely hot. I'm sunburnt, all kinds of stuff. Chase, you got something here?
Well, I think also the fact that of all the games that I've gone to, I feel like noon games are always the ones that you don't get a lot of attendance because you have to be there early for tailgating. Sometimes people don't like doing that. The only time I saw it was for game day, and that's about it. So I think this was more or less a time thing more than a we don't care type of scenario.
And let's be honest, if Houston was the Houston we would have anticipated this season, even with two losses, but if Derek King was playing, I think that this game would have had a bigger buzz around it. But there are a number of factors to play into yesterday. But again, if we want to do those things, I think luxury seats would be a great addition regardless, some better, specific seating. But yeah, it is something that is a question without a doubt. I don't anticipate us having any attendance problems against USF.
That's the one that has to be sold out and packed. It's sold out as far as fans go. It's got to be packed, and I don't doubt that it will be.
Without-
And I think the
definitely.
students and everybody else will be, into that one for sure. So, all right. Well, it's been a great show.
Yep.
Thank you both for chiming in and doing what you do. And thank you to the callers. And actually, we had a text that I did not get to, and I apologize for that. It was our friend Night Bingle. So he says, I think that our D does better in the second half because the D wears the opposing offense down. So thank you very much for that, and we will see you next week here on the same place, ESPN 580 Orlando, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you very much.
Charge on.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join. I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture. It helped me get my job, it helped me pay for my house.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
At International Diamond Center, the diamond prices are so low, they actually enjoy competing with the online retailers.
When people shop online, it makes it really easy because we can beat anybody online.
IDC owner Keith Leclerc.
It happens every day, all the time.
And it's not just the price, it's the quality. Keith says online you see diamonds that have been rejected by quality-conscious jewelers.
The internet typically is selling kind of the second down, third down generation of what's left. Unfortunately for the consumer, they don't realize they're typically buying off of the B list or the C list of what's in the marketplace.
But IDC's diamonds are only the best cuts with the most sparkle, each one handpicked for maximum brilliance. So feel free to do your research. Shop the online retailers, but don't buy until you see what International Diamond Center can do.
You're going to leave with a better quality or a bigger diamond at a better price. Plus, you get all our warranties and guarantees.
Like free service for life, free cleaning, free sizing, and a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee.
You're not getting nothing online like that.
International Diamond Center, 4 Orlando locations.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.
It feels like you're frozen, petrified. You're struggling with your mortgage payments. The bills begin to pile up. Not knowing what to do, you do nothing at all. And that's the worst thing you can do. Because if you take action, if you do something about your mortgage problems, you're far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov and do something about your mortgage problems. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. WDBO Orlando, WDBO FM HD2 Orlando. Broadcasting live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studios. This is ESPN 580 Orlando. Streaming live on the ESPN app and ESPN Orlando.